I'm 70 years old, and most mornings I wake up before the sun, not because I need to, but because sleep doesn't hold me the way it used to. The house is quiet in a way that feels permanent. And in that quiet, there's one truth I can't avoid anymore. I finally understand why I always felt alone. It took me this long to see it clearly, not because I was stupid, not because I didn't care, but because life has a way of keeping you busy enough to avoid the deeper questions until there's no time left to outrun them. I'm not telling this story to feel better about myself. I don't think it works that way anymore. I'm telling it because I don't have much time left, and this feels like something that should be said out loud before I'm gone. At 70, you start to feel the edge of things. People you grew up with are already gone. Others are fading. Your body reminds you every day that it's not interested in your plans. You become very aware of how little room there is left for pretending. I sit at my kitchen table most afternoons with a cup of coffee I don't really want, just to have something warm in my hands. I look around at a life that from the outside probably looked fine. Stable job, marriage, children, a roof that never leaked, bills paid on time. And yet, for as long as I can remember, I felt like I was standing a few steps away from everyone else, close enough to see them, never close enough to feel fully with them. When I was younger, I didn't have language for that feeling. I thought it was just how adulthood felt, tired, preoccupied, always thinking about the next thing. In my 20s, I told myself I was building something. That's what everyone said you were supposed to do. Build a career, build security, build a future so you wouldn't have to worry later. I worked long hours, not because I loved the work, but because I was good at it, and being good at something felt like proof that I mattered. I told myself the exhaustion meant I was doing it right. I didn't think of myself as lonely back then. I was surrounded by people, co-workers, friends from school, family dinners on weekends, noise and movement and conversation. But even then, there was a distance I couldn't explain. I listened more than I spoke. I avoided saying things that might complicate the moment. I learned how to be agreeable, reliable, useful. It seemed harmless at the time. I married in my early 30s, a good person, kind, patient, someone who believed in me more than I believed in myself. I told myself that was love, and in many ways it was. But there were parts of me I never let surface, not because I was hiding something terrible, just because I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to disrupt the peace. I didn't want to be difficult. So I stayed measured, predictable, safe. We built routines, shared responsibilities, raised children. Life filled up quickly. There was always something that needed attention: homework, repairs, extra shifts, family obligations. Whenever I felt that quiet ache creep in, I pushed it aside. There was no time for it. People depended on me. That had to mean something. I told myself I'd slow down later, when things settled, when the kids were older, when work wasn't so demanding. Later became a place I always meant to visit and never did. The cost didn't arrive at all at once. It never does. It shows up in small, forgettable ways. A conversation you postpone because you're tired. A question you don't ask because you're afraid of the answer.
a feeling you dismiss because it doesn't seem practical. I missed moments I didn't even know were moments at the time. Evenings when my children wanted my attention and I was half listening, thinking about deadlines. Mornings when my spouse wanted to talk and I was already mentally gone. I was there, just not fully. People stopped reaching as often, not out of anger, just adjustment. They learned what version of me was available, and I accepted that without protest because it felt easier than changing. By my 40s, the loneliness had become familiar. It no longer alarmed me. It was just part of the background, like a low hum you stop noticing after a while. I had acquaintances, not many deep friendships. I told myself that was normal. Everyone was busy. Everyone was tired. I didn't see how carefully I was avoiding intimacy. Real intimacy asks for presence, for risk, for letting someone see the unpolished parts of you. I didn't think I had the energy for that, or maybe I was afraid that if I stopped being useful, I'd stop being wanted. The turning point didn't arrive as some dramatic explosion. It came quietly, like most real things do. My spouse got sick. Not suddenly at first. Small symptoms, appointments, tests, waiting rooms with old magazines and uncomfortable chairs. I sat beside them and realized how little practice I had at being fully there without distractions. There was nothing to fix, no task to complete, just time, just presence. And I felt unprepared for it. As the illness progressed, conversations changed. We spoke about practical things, wills, accounts, plans, things we should have talked about earlier but never did. There were moments when I wanted to say more, to apologize for things I couldn't quite name, to explain the distance, to ask if they felt it too. But the words stayed stuck. Old habits are hard to break when time is short. When they died, the house became unbearably quiet, not just empty, exposed. All the distractions that had kept me moving were gone. Work slowed. The children had their own lives. There was nothing left to buffer the silence. That's when the loneliness stopped being abstract and became physical. It sat with me, ate with me, slept in the other half of the bed. I started replaying my life in small scenes, not the big milestones, the in-between moments, the times I could have stayed longer, listened better, spoken honestly instead of carefully. I realized something then that hurt more than the loss itself. I had been lonely not because people left me, but because I never fully arrived. I was always preparing for the future instead of inhabiting the present, always managing, maintaining, performing. I thought being responsible was enough. I thought showing up meant providing, not revealing. At 70, you finally see patterns that were invisible when you were inside them. I see how often I chose being needed over being known, how I confused quiet with peace, how I treated connection like something that could wait until everything else was handled. There are things that can't be fixed now, conversations that will never happen, apologies that have no recipient. The people I needed to say these things to are gone, or too far away in ways that distance can't explain. Time doesn't soften that realization, it sharpens it. I don't say this to punish myself. There's no value in that anymore. I say it because honesty feels like the last useful thing I can offer. If you're listening to this and you're younger, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I wouldn't trust anyone who speaks that way. I can only tell you what I wished I had understood sooner. Loneliness isn't always about being alone. Sometimes it's about staying guarded for so long that no one knows how to reach you anymore. Assuming there will be more time is one of the quietest mistakes a person can make. It doesn't feel like a mistake while you're making it. You don't notice it until the doors start closing. Presence doesn't require grand gestures. It requires attention. It requires letting moments be imperfect and unfinished. I spent decades believing I was doing the right thing by staying composed, by not making waves, by carrying my share quietly. What I didn't see was how much of myself I was withholding in the process. Now my days are simpler, slower. I talk to myself more than I used to. Sometimes I say things out loud just to hear a voice in the room.
I try, in the time I have left, to be more open than feels natural, to call people instead of assuming they're busy, to say what I feel before the moment passes. It doesn't erase the past, but it makes the present feel a little more real. I don't know how much time I have left. None of us really do. But I know I don't want to spend it pretending I don't need connection. If this meant something to you, I hope you sit with it for a moment. Not to fix anything, just to notice what's already there. At 70, I finally understand why I always felt alone. And understanding it now doesn't undo it, but it does make the remaining days feel honest. And that, at this stage, is enough.